Hello, internet friends and family. It's another survival tactical EDC 72-hour, 24-hour get home bug out bag video. If I am leaving the house for a day or a weekend or a week, this is the bag I want to bring with me. The cool thing about having a smaller bag is if you have a big giant survival bag, you never take it with you. I got one, never took it with me. That's why I condensed. And I was like, I take this with me because look, I've been holding it this whole time. It weighs about 25 pounds. Feels good. And it's the shoulder strap type. I'm a big guy, can't wear backpacks, whatever. Let's dig into this thing.
The first component, put you a big old first aid stamp on your bag. All that stuff's in here so I can save other people. But this tells people, save me too. Over here I have a whistle, which is great for like, if you're like giving first aid treatment to somebody, you want to draw a crowd and get as much help as you can, you know? I have this really awesome tiny, it's my favorite tiny light because it's super duper bright. I know you want me to turn these on, so I will. You gotta hold in for a second and then blast. I mean, this thing is so bright. It's got all kinds of modes. There we go. That's good for drawing attention too if you need someone to help. And it's rechargeable. And I'm going to talk about all of my electronic components are rechargeable because I have a power bank in here. And that's the way to go in my opinion. I threw this Sharpie in here mostly because it fit. Over here's one of my favorite knives ever. This is the cold steel. As you can tell, it locks in there. This is the GI Tanto fixed blade knife, full tang. That means the metal goes all the way through the handle. Self-defense stabbing and also chopping wood. This thing's really cool because it comes with a hard sheath. It locks into place like I showed you, right? Over here on the back, we have pepper gel. And this is pepper gel, not spray. Why do we want gel, folks? Because spray can get caught in the wind and come back on you. Okay, let's talk about the back. Over here, I got a Mylar blanket. Here's my gloves. I like the mechanics. Bandana. Everybody knows what all the lovely things these can be used for. I have a micro cloth. I wear glasses, and I like really cleaning my glasses with this thing. Get into the front. Right here, I have some Purell. I got one of these. These are toilet wipes, flushable wipes. 2 ponchos. They have Mylar, so they retain heat. So rain and heat, you know, these can be like blankets. Got 2 in there because, you know, the wife's with me. And like I said, this is more for winter weather stuff. I got some hot hands in there. 4 of them. 2 for each of our feet, or 1 for each hand. Okay, let's go to this sector. And sometimes you just need some food. I like the Kind bars. I know everybody uses the Cliff bars. But I'm like, man, you read the ingredients to Cliff bars and all those other protein bars and stuff like that. They're all sugar. Sugar and flour. It's like, that's not nutritious. It's like, these things are. These are mostly nuts. This is a de-icer and lubricant for car locks. Because it sucks in the winter when your car lock freezes, right? Got a water kit. You know, I got the main survival components in here. I also pair mine up. I know this comes with a little bag on its own, but I didn't like it. It felt kind of cheap. Platypus bladders are a lot better because they're more durable. I punched these out with a hole punch. I put some of these key ring things on it and just some paracord because then I can hang it if I need to off my belt or hang it off this bag and carry it with me as a water container. I got these tablets, Aqua Tabs. This is definitely more of a comfort item, which has, you know, dual purposes. It's a big old stainless steel flask, and I got this thing filled with, guess what? vodka, 100 proof vodka. But it'll clean a wound and fire starting, right? Just alcohol is good to have for, I think you know my main reason I got it in there. Yeah, because this is a little bit of a party bag too, you know. It's everything bag. Altoids, I like peppermint a lot. And these are just nice for comfort. And also good for, like, you know, if you're filtering crappy water or whatever, you just crush one of these up and put it in the water and give it a little flavor so it doesn't taste like fish. So if you ever just drank out of a creek or a pond, it always tastes fishy. I got these little tiny pack of playing cards because me and the wife like playing rummy and euchre and stuff like that. And this is for more like, you know, the power's out or something. I carry this because it's small, and I find myself measuring stuff all the time. Just a little measuring tape, right? And it goes all the way up to that. And on the smoker, so I got this mini vape system, which has the highest nicotine fluid and rechargeable. Oh, I love this. My favorite flashlight. This thing will last for 6 days on low mode. Now, I put this in the living room and turned all the lights off, and I took this and I just set it on its butt, shined it on the ceiling, and this thing lit up the room enough to, like, comfortably be able to play cards or even read a book. The neat thing about this light, too, is, like, the reason it's so affordable is because it doesn't have a recharging port. It's got the port on the battery, so you just take the battery out and charge the battery. Basic fire starter kit, Bic lighter, wrapped in a rubber band, ferro rod here. So I got some cotton balls. I didn't have any Vaseline, but I had some menthol Vapo Rub, which is basically the same shit. I also have one of these little, they're for like camping stoves or whatever. These little cubes. Got this waterproof paper. I put phone numbers of all my friends and family in the back, because you never know if your phone dies or whatever. And then a space pen. Earplugs. Never know when you're going to be in a situation where it's really loud. I like these guys because they're sonic earplugs. They allow some sound in, but they also cancel out large noises. Lockpick set. Highly recommend y'all learn how to pick locks. And really all you need are these two. Retention arm and the picking thing. I could pick master locks with these two things right here. Wouldn't be a survival bag without one of these guys. Pliers. And you can cut wire with it. Also has a super sharp blade on there. You could use that for like a scalpel or a razor blade. And then you get your basic Phillips flatheads. I mostly got it for the pliers. This is a super lube. Good for loosening up locks or bolts. Just a basic thread and needle in here. And this thread is wax coated. It's heavy duty. It's made for like fixing stuff like leather. First aid. I'm heavy on first aid when it comes to the bag. Remember this? First aid bag. They open up the bag. They're like, that's the first aid. They don't have to go digging around through all the other junk. I will tell you this. This is more trauma than first aid. Trauma is more important. Save a life. No one's ever died from a skin laceration or cold. Blood clot. It has an applicator in here. You shove it in the hole like a bullet hole. You just squirt it in. You squirt it as close to the bleeding artery as you can find. You use this for heavy bleeding. Let me just say this before we really get into this. I will mention what I have. Go online. This is what I did. I go on YouTube and I study each one of these things on how to use them properly. Learn how to use it, because just having it in your bag don't mean squat. Rat's tourniquet. I don't see a lot of people put eye wash in here, but you know what? You get chemicals in your eye or something, and it's like some sanitized water, man, can help a lot. Electric tape. I prefer electric tape over duct tape for most things because it stretches. You can stretch this stuff. Meds. These are all non-prescription stuff. Most important things in here are the charcoal pills and the aspirin. Aspirin good for people having like chest pains, might be having a heart attack. Throw one of these in their mouth, maybe two. Tell them just chew and swallow, right? The charcoal, I bought the highest potent charcoal over the counter you can get. Good for food poisoning or drug overdoses. Everything else in here is more like comfort. Israel bandage. I think everybody that has a prepper bag knows what these are. Headlamp, because if it's nighttime, I'm working on a wound or something. I can't be holding a flashlight. Don't want to put one in my mouth either, because I'll be slobbered all over the wound. It only has 2 modes, right? On and super on. That's it, right? That's all you need. But it has a broad spectrum thing. Now, this thing is not for trailblazing or anything, because it doesn't actually spotlight far away. It's more for like medium to close-up work. Rechargeable, just like everything else. USB rechargeable. Blood clotting sponge. Great for packing wounds. Also just have some gauze sponges. These are more for packing wounds. Or making, field bush band-aids with. Exit entry wound. Chest seal twin pack. Mostly used for when people get shot or punctured and it goes through you. It hits your lung. Oral rehydration salts. A pack of this and a glass of water is like, hello. Great for hangovers. I bet you wasn't even thinking about that. And then I have 2 glucose tabs. These are basically just sugar tabs. I'm diabetic. And sometimes when your blood sugar goes low, you need a quick pick-me-up. And these work better than eating a candy bar or anything else because they're glucose, which what happens when you eat sugar, right? It has to be processed into glucose in your body, so it takes longer. These just go straight in your body as glucose. Also got some alcohol prep pads, and then some Band-Aids. Nose trumpet. One of my favorite things to do is watch the military videos where the soldiers like put them in their nose and they're crying and they're not happy at all. But yeah, these are for like crushed throat. Your throat's crushed, you can't breathe. Shove that down their nose, they can breathe out of this. This is just a hypodermic needle. I mostly have this because even though I'm diabetic, I don't use insulin. I'm type 2. But this could be good if someone is like type 1 and for some reason they don't have their syringe with them or something. This is the old decompression needle. Once again for like gunshot wounds to the lung and someone can't breathe. I also got a big old pair of hemostats in here. These are for clamping off an artery. Now, a lot of times if somebody gets a severe, cut or an amputation or something, you probably won't be able to see the artery. But if you can, you know what? This works even better than a tourniquet because you just clamp that sucker on that squirting artery and you will know if an artery is squirting because it's fresh, clean, bright blood and it's gushing out. Clamp that sucker off and it locks into place, right? And these are the long ones too, so you can get up in there and get them and totally save a life within seconds, right? Gloves, nitrile, 4 in it. That's for your own safety. This is just a little mini blood clot thing for smaller wounds. You just pack that into, I'd say more like medium wounds. I wouldn't pack this into a paper cut. And that's the trauma kit. This is just a charger. Has 2 USB. That pulls out. Boring. Ooh, I like this. This is my radio. This is good for comforts and just partying on the weekend. The power goes out. Or like getting news. This thing blows my mind. It's got an antenna. Very flimsy one, but an antenna. Rechargeable. The speaker on this thing is amazing for how small this is. This thing can rock a room. I ain't kidding. It's like loud and it sounds good. Like it has bass response. You can put a little micro SD card in there and play MP3s on it too. Right? Turn it up. Yeah, it rocks. I tested it and it'll last for 8 hours on like volume 5. And that's definitely going to get you through a night, a power outage. Oh, all right, so this is what I've been talking about. This is my bad boy. Like if, all these electronics I got in here that are rechargeable, I better have a good power bank. Look at that. What? Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. I'm picking up light. I'm recharging. Go big or go home with these things. And yeah, it's a little bulky, it's heavy, but you know what? When we are so reliant on recharging things, our cell phones and all that stuff, good to have a big one that's not too big. Because this thing will charge my cell phone 8 times. Or all my other devices. It can do 2 USBs at the same time. Since it has 2 USBs, I have 2 USB cables in here. And I also have 2 adapters. Paracord! Oh my God, let me tell you all the uses for... Nope. Meds and hygiene. I like this stuff because it's like sunburns, or you just get burned, or bug bites, or any skin irritation that hurts. Maximum strength, 4% lidocaine. Baking soda, this is good for brushing your teeth, or if your armpits stink or something, mix it with a little water, put it on your armpits, you're good for about 12 hours. Killing odors, brushing teeth. Also, baking soda is great for upset stomachs. If you have like acid reflux or something, just take a little bit of this with some water, and then you're going to burp really hard, and you're going to be like, relief. Toothbrush, toothache pain relief in case you break a tooth or something. Help with the pain until you get some help. Just a plastic toothpick with a flosser on it, and chapstick. The wife gets chapped lips during the winter. I got it in there mostly for that. But also you can, like, fire starter. This is just Dawn soap. Like, you never know, you might have to wash your hair, wash your face, wash something. I like Dawn a lot because it actually breaks up grease, which most soaps don't. I get bad sinuses. I also use a CPAP when I sleep. This is the toiletry kind of section. I got a bunch of dude wipes in here. Remember I showed you my one earlier in the front pouch. And then I got a couple of these coin towels. You put a little water on them, they get really big. And then I got some hemorrhoid stuff just in case you're constipated and you rip your butthole open. I don't know. These also could be fire starters and stuff. It's just cocoa butter. You could actually eat that if you wanted to. So we got Q-tips, fingernail clippers, and a file, and safety pins. Now, I used to laugh at people where I was like, why would you put like fingernail clippers and, you know, a file or whatever in your kit? And it's like, oh, it's when you get a hangnail. I got a hangnail the other day, and it's like, it keeps you from like being able to use your hands and stuff. Oh, we're almost done, kids. All right. Last one. I think these are important to have. Screwdriver. Mini screwdriver. And then I like these. They have many bits on them. I can do very small Phillips flathead or very big Phillips flathead. And maybe you're like, why would you have such a small nubby one? And I'm like, hey, because I have this extender. And this thing is neat because not only does it make it longer, you can go around corners with it. Little mini channel locks, like they lock onto a bolt, right? You can turn things. Now, maybe you're like, hey, I saw you with the Gerber pliers. Why do you need 2 kind of like plier thingies, right? It's because most times when you grab a bolt, you have to grab the other side to be able to twist them off. Plus, I just love them. They remind me of like a dinosaur or something. I think that's why I liked them. I always liked them when I was a kid. That was my favorite tool. Wow, I'm really going off the deep end now. I think the vodka's kicking in. If you're going to buy wire cutters or cable cutters, get these. Little did I know, the secret, like they don't open that big. I was like, can I actually put a master lock into that and cut it? What you do is it has this little thing. And you would put the lock, or like the bar, right, the U-bar, on the lock into this first, and then you just twist it, and you kind of grind it down. Then you put this on there, and then snap. This is one of those big rubber, like a rubber wrench or something. Anyhow, it expands really big. It's like that. You can put this thing around a pipe, loosen a jar of pickles. This is for getting like big jobs done in a small package. I got a little pry bar. You know, you never know if you need to pry like a door open or something. I don't have anything else that would actually be able to do that. So, like I don't have a hammer in here. So, a little pry bar. Everybody has to have a P51. Except for you P38 guys. I figured if you're going to open some cans, you might as well do it with a bigger P51. That's all. Kids. Voila!
Holy shikeys, that's a lot of stuff. Over 100 items packed into this bag. And guess what? I went through the grueling process of linking to each and every item in the description below. So I'm Prepper Russ, I guess.